Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, with the news that Tim Tszyu will face Keith Thurman on March 30th, that will be the initial kickoff of PBC on Amazon Prime. I have to wonder, where does this leave Terence "Bud" Crawford? Now, we know that Errol Spence is on the shelf currently because of cataract surgery, so we don't expect Errol to be back in the ring anytime soon. We heard rumblings of Tim Tszyu versus Terence Crawford. Not only did we hear rumblings of this, but we heard directly from the horse's mouth, which was Bernie the boxer, talking about the fact that Tim Tszyu would be a huge fight wherever it is, whether that was here in the States or over in Australia. So it seemed like we were going in that direction. Now, I know who actually initiated some of those rumors. It's a certain, let's call it, content creator that's out there that maybe everybody don't care for, but some people really like. But Bernie also perpetuated those rumors by stating what he stated in regards to Tim Tszyu. Now, let me take the time, Jay, to remind everybody of what Bernie the boxer had to say. Now, can't remember exactly what platform he was on, Jay, so I don't want to say the wrong name, but he was on a platform speaking in regards to Terence Crawford and some of the opportunities that Terence Crawford has next. And he talked a little bit about Tim Tszyu, and he also talked about Jaron Ennis. Now, he basically said that Tim Tszyu is a big time name over in Australia, an opportunity for Terence Crawford to make history, and that it will be a huge and big fight. And that when you look at Tim Tszyu and you compare him versus Jaron Ennis, there's no comparison in terms of their overall resume. And although, Jaron Ennis is a big fight, right? An option for Terence Crawford, if you will. Definitely an intriguing fight, according to Bernie the boxer. There's really no comparison between he and Tim Tszyu. And at the end of the day, I couldn't necessarily argue that point from Bernie. That point did make sense. There were a lot of points that Bernie made in that discussion that I agreed with, some that I didn't agree with, and I invited him on the show to have a conversation in regards to that. Now that Tim Tszyu is no longer an option, where does he go? Because there's really not a whole lot of options at 154 if you're talking about big fight and history making. Canelo is being rumored to be facing Maul next. That's what we're hearing. We don't know if that's going to materialize or not. But
don't like it.
But Terence Crawford right now is currently, he's no longer the undisputed welterweight champion, but he's definitely the linear welterweight champion. There's a young man there named Jaron Boots Ennis that Bernie the boxer said, Jaron Boots Ennis, that Bernie the boxer said was an intriguing fight. He said that was a good fight, basically. So what reasons do we now have for Terence Crawford not to face someone like Jaron Ennis? There's no other better available opponent, Jay. Can you think of a better available opponent for Terence Crawford? I mean, is it legacy defining in terms of? Is it legacy defining in terms of him getting the opportunity to become undisputed? Well, technically it is, because he would become undisputed again at the weight class. Yeah. But for another weight class, no, it wouldn't be. However, in terms of being the most competitive fight that Terence Crawford can make, in terms of being the most intriguing fight Terence Crawford can make, in terms of bringing in both casual fans and hardcore boxing fans who want to see him in the ring with Jaron Ennis, because I would guarantee you that hardcore boxing fans honestly will probably make such a big deal out of Terence Crawford taking on Jaron Ennis that this fight could actually draw. I think the fight could draw, considering that, Terence Crawford and his fans say that he's one of the biggest names in the sport, and he just did 650,000 buys with Errol Spence, as what a lot of his fans are saying is as the A-side. So, Jay, I would love to see this fight. I would love to see Terence Crawford consider it, because I don't see any better option for Terence Crawford currently. Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I've been clamoring for that fight for the longest. Now, the thing is, if Bud's going to go back down to 147, again, this is all contingent that he does not take the rematch with Spence because Spence is on the shelf for an extended period of time. We don't know what that timeline is for Spence. We don't know the severity of the cataracts and what's going on with that. So at this option, like you said, Bernie said 2 people, Tim Tszyu and Boots. Tim Tszyu is off that mark. So that leaves no one else left but Jaron Boots Ennis. That would be the fight I would love to see. And again, neither myself nor Greg has said Boots beats Bud. We said this is the best fight for Bud. This is the best fight he can get at 147 and between 147 and 154. Because anybody else at 154 is not going to be the same as a fight with Bud as it would with Boots. There's no one else there at 154. Now, also, with him, they're talking about Bud wanted legacy. Well, the WBC has just said that the fight with Fundora and Bohachak would now be for the vacant belt because Jermell is a champion in recess. So that makes it even harder for Terence to become a 3-time undisputed champion. He'll have multiple fights. So if he wants to become undisputed at 154, he's going to be fighting at least until 2025 fall because he's going to have to get 3 or 4 fights in. So that takes that off the board right there. So the next best option for him right now, money-wise, if he's not going to wait for Spence, fight that dude from Philly in Boots. That way, like you said, he could be undisputed again at 147. Some of his fans say, well, he's still undisputed. Nah, he inherited Spence's mandatory. He couldn't make that mandatory defense for that belt, so the IBF stripped him. This is the easy way. This is the easiest way he can be 3-time undisputed champion right now. The fight Boots, beat Boots, he becomes undisputed again at 147. Real quickly. I mean, that's what it would be. Easiest way for him undisputed 3 times. So I mean, this is the fight that needs to happen for him because there's no other fight ready for him that's going to be worthwhile, in my opinion. Canelo, no. We saw. I thought Tim Tszyu was going to be a good option, but Tim Tszyu went a different route. So, Bud, it's on you. Unless Bud has done everything in the sport, he doesn't need to do anything else to prove himself, to prove anything to anyone. He can retire and just chill if he wants to. I mean, those are some options he has you can look at.
Yeah, he's earned the right to do what he wants to do. But at the same time, if he's looking to make an intriguing fight, get the fight fans what they want, to make one of the bigger fights currently at welterweight, because right now, I mean, if you think about it, who's a bigger fighter at welterweight outside of Errol Spence? Now, we could choose to just wait on Errol Spence, and that's perfectly fine as well. But right now, it doesn't seem like Errol is going to be in a position anytime soon to actually, fight. He still has to heal up. Then he got to get through a training camp and all that. So, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah. Also, Bud is not the type of fighter kind of like the wait and not be active. The way Bud has been moving, he's always been an active fighter for the most part. Outside of last year where he only had that one fight. So I mean, I don't know if Bud's going to wait around to be out of the ring for a year because remember back in 2022, he didn't want to wait the fight till early part of 2023 to fight Spence for that Spence fight. That's why he said he went ahead and took that David Avenesian fight. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to ring for a whole year.
That was before he got that big old PBC check.
Oh yeah, good point. Very good point. But I think Bud's going to either wait for Spence or he's going to get that next fight. I hope it's Boots.
We'll see what ends up happening. You guys tell us what you think in the comments section in regards to Terence Crawford no longer having Tim Tszyu as an option. Should he consider facing Jaron Ennis? Ennis has expressed interest in getting into the ring with Terence Crawford, and I would love to see the fight. I'm sure you fight fans would as well. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.